In the darkest night, we find our light. Battered souls, but we won't lose sight. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, never alone. Through every trial, we carry on. Surviving together, we stand tall. United forever. Strength and courage will overcome. Oh, surviving together, victorious, and never, never alone. Hand in hand, we'll face the unknown.
We see you, we hear you, and we believe you. Hey everyone, how you doing on this Saturday afternoon? It was nice the last couple of days. Now it's snowing here in Michigan. Par for the course. You've landed at Surviving Together, a safe space for trauma survivors to connect and build community on their healing journey, as well as providing trauma-related education for all. And I just have to say happy, well, I won't say happy, but tomorrow is International Human Trafficking Day. And so I will be putting out a post, at least a post. Maybe I'll go live for a few minutes. We'll have to see in regards to the human trafficking series that this channel is launching. And we'll be starting our first real meat and potatoes of dealing with human trafficking on Wednesday at 6. So get ready. I have got most everybody lined up. I've got 3 definitively scheduled, just trying to work out dates with the others. January's taken care of. Got 1 person in February already. Just need 1 more for February. And then we'll be continuing in March and April. So it will be a very interesting series. You will not want to miss any of those shows. Tiff is here. She's just going to be listening. No problem, Tiff. And Crystal's here. Hello, hello, hello to both of you. This will be a little shorter of a live today. I have a lot of work to do with my son. I am crying big tears on the inside right now. He is closing on his house next week. The moving van is coming next Saturday, 1 week from today. I'm up in the air as to whether or not I'll be live next Saturday. So I'm just going to have to see. I may be putting up something, a live notice a little late. So I'll try when I know for certain, like when exact time that the moving truck is coming, it'll be easier to determine where I'm needed and when I'm needed and all of that kind of stuff. My son does not know how to pack. He doesn't know how to pack a moving van. They would just kind of put everything in and have a ton of wasted space. If you've ever successfully, cram 30% more dishes into your dishwasher, you know what I'm talking about, right? You got to get everything in there just right and, face in the right direction. And so I'm going to be helping him with that. None of his friends have done this before. So going to have a lot of hands to help, but nobody with any experience moving. So this should be interesting. You guys, I've talked about this before. I'm so proud of him, but I only have a week left with the cats. I'm thinking we might have to work out a joint custody arrangement. They're not going to be, they've got a big yard over there, but they're not going to be able to go out because they don't have well, I have a fenced in area downstairs and the cats can jump that, no problem. They'd have to have like a 12-footer or something. But the upper deck, Moki is the only one who jumps down, but at least they can go out and they sit like little gargoyles on top of the railing and look out at the expanse. So maybe I'll have to have him bring them over once or twice a month, and mom will babysit. Grandma will babysit, whatever I'm going to be called. Krista says, "Oh, the joy of moving." Yeah, I think they're going to be able to get most everything into the moving truck. And what they don't, we've got tons of friends and myself and other people who have their cars, right? So all the people who are going to be helping, they're going to have to drive over there anyway. So might as well shove stuff in their cars too. So I'm not worried about it. Crystal says, I'll have to get the fur babies. I think so. Oh, I have to get my own. I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I have to get my finances down pat. When I'm making enough money and I'm comfortable enough in the month to month, and so maybe by late spring, summer, or whatever, and I've been able to cover all the house. I've gotten used to sharing household expenses, right? I mean, I ease my son into it, first taking over all the cat stuff, and then he paid for the internet and then paid half the mortgage, just kind of easing him into getting used to having financial responsibilities, right? But still being able to save the bulk of what he makes in a month. And I've gotten used to it. So I got to get used to taking care of everything myself again. But we'll have to see. I mean, like the electric and gas and water's included here, but electric and gas, I guess, are the main things, right? And the grocery bill, we'll just have to see how much I'm really interested to see how much that decreases. And he's getting off of my insurance, but he's been paying his own insurance since he turned 18. So that's not going to be a difference for me, but we'll have to see. So anyway, that's what's going on with me. I'm feeling all bumble inside because of it. So, hey, buddy, how you doing today? Glad you joined us. So listen, guys, I came across an article, and I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because it is having to do with the research that has been going on with our gut health and the connection to mental health. We've talked about this before. I think I've done 2 live shows on it. So if you guys want to know more about it, check out those shows. I think one was called Mental Health and Your Gut, and one was the brain gut connection, something like that. And I spoke a lot about the science behind it and what they've been discovering. Well, they just recently released or published a research study that they did, and they were looking into social anxiety, and they think that they have found the markers for it in the gut biome. And it was interesting. What they did was they took people with social anxiety, adolescents, because that's when it usually first shows itself. And so they took their gut biome, which, in order to get an accurate depiction of what your gut biome is doing, they take the fecal matter and they introduced it somehow. They sterilized it and all that. Into mice, baby mice, so that they would have it all growing up until their adolescence. And then they tested the then adolescent teen mice for different behaviors to see if they exhibited any social anxiety, and they did. They took people with no social anxiety. They did the same thing, and so they had their control group of mice that they introduced this gut biome to, did the same thing, and they showed no signs of social anxiety. So it's really interesting research that's being done. There's, in the last 10 years, there's been an explosion, right, of research that's been made into the gut biome. And particularly the last 5 years, we've heard so much about prebiotics and probiotics. And it makes perfect sense to me that social anxiety, that the markers for it would reside in our gut, because think about when you get uncomfortable with something, you get that feeling in your stomach. And what they were trying to determine is the brain talking to our stomach, because there's that brain gut connection, that little highway through the vagus nerve that runs. And they know that there's a lot of anxiety markers that they've been able to find in the brain. So they're trying to determine, is the brain telling the gut, or is it the gut telling the brain? And at least according to this research, there's good evidence with what they've done so far that it is your gut. So fascinating stuff. More research is going to be done on this, I'm sure. I want to just read a quote from the article as to kind of why they did this and how they got into this. It said, we drew significant inspiration from the gut-brain axis, particularly the high-impact research linking the gut microbiota to the pathogenesis of autism spectrum. And this was something that I didn't know, that they have found a connection in regards to autism between the brain-gut connection. Seeing how profound the gut's influence is in autism, we asked ourselves, could a similar disruption in the gut microbiome be driving social anxiety disorder? The question motivated us to explore whether social anxiety disorder patients exhibit a distinct gut microbial environment. And what their research is indicating is the answer is yes, or at least it significantly impacts it, right? It's a significant factor in the social anxiety. Hey, Patty, how you doing? So it's just really fascinating. They continue to do research in regards to mental health and how important our gut biome is, and how do you get a good gut biome? I mean, I've been seeing things now that there's different types of gut biomes, and what might be right for you is not right for somebody else. And of course, that makes sense in the big picture of we're all individuals, right? But in general, try not to eat processed foods. Eat as healthy as you can. And by healthy, we mean whole foods, right? So eat the stuff that isn't in a box or a bag. Get the actual food itself and cook it, whether that's meat, whether that's vegetables, whether it's fruit. Polyphenols are really, really good for your gut biome, and there's lots of polyphenols in olive oil, dark berries like blueberries and blackberries, getting enough fiber, your standard fiber sources, plus flaxseed, chia seeds, Trying to think of some other just kind of, I won't say odder things, but things that, unless you're into it or have been really trying to drive yourself in terms of putting good things into your body. Bananas have good fiber as well, because those probiotics that, prebiotics and probiotics, the prebiotics are the basically kind of like the whole foods. So the fiber, you need that fiber in order for the probiotics to digest it and to do what it needs to do. Good sources of probiotics or anything, all those fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt, particularly a Greek yogurt without all the added sugars, kefir, which I have added to my daily, but I will say there is a lot of added sugar. And so I'm actually a little uncertain as to what the health benefit of that. Am I getting all the health benefit of kefir by drinking one that has that added sugar? I'm not sure that I could do it without the added sugar. I could eat a lot of sauerkraut. Kimchi, I like kimchi as long as it's not like done really, really hot. But I don't know how much of it I could eat on a daily basis. But, keeping your stress down, so minimizing the cortisol that is flowing through our body helps keep that gut biome in check, helps keep that healthy, as well as just having the right hormones running through our bodies, meaning not cortisol, but all the other good stuff. So exercising and meditation, mindfulness, journaling, I mean, whatever those positive tools in our toolbox are, right? All of this combines to help keep our gut healthy. So it's not just about what we're eating, but it's about keeping our whole body in balance. I will definitely say I need to get moving more, and it's going to be interesting with my son out of the house. I have the basement back. And as I said, I'm kind of determining what to do, but at least in terms of exercise, I have a whole basement to use now. So I can roll out my yoga mat and leave it there. I can put my weights down there. I can do some taekwondo forms or just some kicks or punches, and I don't have to worry about, running into the coffee table or anything, or my son hearing it downstairs, right? Because I'll be on the basement level, right on cement. But if I am going to start doing more martial arts, I do need to get some pads for the floor, because I know that my shins and my knees would not appreciate me doing it on cement for a long time. Yeah, Patty, this is a good point, and it's one of those things that says I always keep plain Greek yogurt around, but then you have to keep dairy to a minimum, I hear. If it's not one thing, it's another. And I think part of that, again, goes back to the individuality. Because if you were to listen to everything that's out there in terms of what you should eat or shouldn't eat, what you keep to a minimum, keto is good. No, do a plant-based diet. No, the carnivore diet is excellent. And I use diet in quotes, being just, a way of eating. No, go all gluten-free, even if you don't have a gluten allergy. It is so confusing. And I think the best we can do is try to eat as whole as we can. And if you find that you're eating well, you're getting enough protein, you're getting enough fiber, and you're still feeling off, then maybe you need to look at your diet, look at what you're eating, and adjust. Maybe you need more fiber in your diet and less dairy. Maybe you need more protein. So I would really encourage people to work with a doctor in regards to trying to make changes if they're eating as well as they can, but are still having issues. The wonderful thing with the gut biome research that they're doing is they're dialing it in more and figuring out what a healthy gut biome looks like, and what a gut biome looks like in a person that, say, suffers depression or suffers anxiety or both, because they do look different, which is just mind-blowing. But they are being able to determine this. So I came across a new word, for me anyway, called psychobiotics. And basically, it is taking a probiotic for a mental health condition like depression or anxiety. And there's been good research that's been done in this area showing that it has really been helpful. And we know from other research that we've talked about that just getting a better gut biome, having a better balanced diet helps with depression. But the fact that they've been able to take this research and show that a gut biome in somebody who has depression looks a certain way, and when we add these probiotics into it, and these people start feeling better, they said after about 8 weeks, which is roughly around the same time as taking an antidepressant. And then they look at their gut biome again, and it's changed. So they're using this line of research as a way of potentially dialing in new medications to be able to hone in to different conditions to say, okay, you've got depression, here's your depression probiotic. You've got anxiety, here's your anxiety probiotic. You have some immune issues, here's that one. On one level, I'm excited about that because I would rather take a probiotic than an antidepressant. On the other hand, I don't want us to get back into the med mindset that we were in the 80s and 90s of, you have a condition, that's fine. We've got a pill for that. I think the message that needs to be taken from this is that our bodies can heal our conditions. We may still need external help, but we can do a lot on our own to be able to get ourselves in balance and help with our autoimmune conditions and our mental health conditions. So it's exciting from that aspect. And I really hope that we don't end up down the road of, great, we've just dialed it in. So you've got depression, here's your pill, just like they were, passing them out when antidepressants became the thing. You've got depression, no problem. We've got an antidepressant. Taking a probiotic for depression and then working with that person to say, okay, how can we get your gut biome to mimic what we're doing naturally without having to take this oral additive? I think that's really where the medical field needs to be. If they're going to be passing out pills specific, for fixing a gut, how can we do it naturally? Because I think it's possible. It's just that you don't have that right now, right? So let's give this to you in the short term until we can figure out how to fix what's going on in your body, get you eating the right things. Now, some people are never going to take that step, right? They're like, no, it's easier. I'll just take the probiotic and then I can still have my junky diet and eat my Cheetos all day long or whatever it is. And those people are never going to help themselves, right? I mean, that's up to them. It's an individual choice. But I think that having the doctors have the mindset of, okay, we'll give you a pill, but this is a short-term fix. We want to focus on how can we get your gut biome to look like this naturally? And that's a shift from where medicine has been. Just treating symptoms, here's a pill. And some doctors have made that shift. Don't get me wrong. There are doctors out there who are wonderful at trying to get patients to take responsibility for their own health. Excuse me. And to do whatever. I swallowed my spit wrong. Hang on. Oh. To get patients to take responsibility for their own health and to do what is necessary to help themselves be well as naturally as possible. So, but I think culturally there still is a shift that needs to occur. And I think it's occurring just with the research and saying, okay, we have a pill for something, that piece just makes me a little nervous, right? Crystal says, I get what you're saying, but how do you eat things you've never liked? Well, one, just by trying them and trying them over and over again. I've heard that if you don't like something, you should try it 4 to 5 times. You know, try it a little bit one week, try it a little bit next week, maybe cook it differently, put it in something, cook it with some spices, you know, try it different ways to see how you can incorporate it into your diet. And that it takes several times to learn to like something. And there may be some things you're never going to like. That's okay. I mean, we're all individuals. So it's a matter of finding those foods that you do like and that you can work into your diet that are going to have the effect of getting your fiber in or getting those probiotics in. And like I said, if there's a lot of them that you don't like, let's figure out just different ways of cooking things. Like I hated Brussels sprouts. I like cabbage. It's just so odd because they're basically mini cabbages. There's just something about the flavor, and I'm real particular about bitterness. So like I don't like endive. I don't like any of those really, really dark greens. If they've got that bitter taste to it, I'm not a fan. Not a fan of fennel. But if you cook Brussels sprouts, if you bake them basically with some bacon and some garlic and salt and pepper, yum. Yum, 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 yum. I love it. Because it says a lot of it's the textures of the food. Oh yeah, some people are really, you know, my first mother-in-law hated rice because she couldn't stand the texture of rice. I don't think there's much you're going to do unless you puree it to get it to a totally different texture or crisp it. So again, different different baking, different processing of the foods. So that could be, an option for you. Putting things in smoothies if you don't like whatever their regular texture is. If you don't like smooth stuff, how can you crisp things? Putting it in the broiler. So you just have to play around with it. And Google is your friend. And of course, AI now, how can I get X into a different texture? And just start researching that way. See, individuality. Crystal says, I love Brussels sprouts. Just steam them. Carmel says, yuck, you can have my Brussels sprouts. So, we are all individual people. We have our likes and our dislikes. But I do try and take the advice of cooking things in different ways, using different spices, and trying them multiple times before I finally say, nope, never again. Like, I'm sorry, you just can't make octopus taste good or squid in my book. I know other people who have been like, no, you just haven't had it cooked right. Okay, maybe. Snails, escargot. That's definitely a texture thing for me. I guess that's kind of, the rubberiness of it, the chewiness of it. I don't want to have to really keep on chewing my food. Indigo says, I disagree, but we're still friends. I love octopus and squid. I love this. Hey, Crystal Phoenix, how's it going? And Carmel, hello to you too. No problem that you fell asleep. It's late there, right? It's almost midnight. So those are the two subjects I wanted to talk about today. As I said, it was going to be a shorter show, but beets are good for you. They are super good for you. And guess what? I don't like beets. But I'll say that I think I've only had beets one way. I think I've really only had them pickled or like out of the can or jar or whatever. I can't say that I've ever had fresh beets. So maybe I would like them that way. That's something I'd be willing to give a try if somebody, but I've got a lot of work to do with my diet before I probably think about introducing new foods and new ways of cooking foods that I don't like. My diet is horrible, mainly because I forget to eat. I get going with things, and I just forget to eat. And then I grab something that's like right there. And usually it's a protein bar or something like that, or some cracker sandwiches, or a bowl of cereal, something that I don't actually have to cook. And guess what? Processed foods. Not great for you. Carmel says we agree on the beets. Okay. Indigo, I did. Did you hear about the research into diabetes being caused by a parasite that apparently can be vanquished by drinking warm water mixed with cinnamon and honey? Yes. And I will say that I have heard, because for some reason it shows up as ads in my YouTube feed. So I have heard that it is a microscopic parasite. I have heard that it is an inch-long parasite. When they say you can lower your AOC instead of your A1C, there's a 7-second trick for everything, or a 7-minute exercise for everything. And I say that only because I get these all the times in my feeds. Here's this quick thing that can fix ear ringing. It can fix weak stream. It's not your prostate. It's related to something else. This is going to fix diabetes. This is going to fix your ability to sleep. The natural Manjaro, right? And they say I dropped from 181 to 130 in 20 days or something like that. Guess what? Dropping 50 pounds in 20 days is unhealthy. I know of no research that's been going on right now that says that's a good idea, because guess what? You're just losing muscle mass. It's not you're not necessarily losing fat. So not a great way to go. I'm having sushi as we speak. Yeah, see, that's another one. I've really tried. Even California rolls. I don't know. It's just something about it. As long as it's wrapped in rice paper, like I can be okay with it, depending on what's inside of it. But I can't stand seaweed. I can't stand seaweed paper. It just is noxious to me. My son loves sushi. Absolutely loves it. He loves clams. He loves mussels. I love a lot of seafood. Clams and mussels. Again, I think it's that texture thing. I mean, I know most people just like slide them down or whatever, but to me, I have to chew my food, and it's a chew, and I'm like, yeah. You're only allergic to one seafood, and it's scallops, Indigo. I am so sorry. I love scallops. I love lobster. I love crab. I love most fish. I'm learning to like salmon depending on how it's cooked. I've been able to cook salmon at home with some spices in certain mixes. I find that I don't like just steamed salmon or just basic baked salmon. There's got to be some other flavors mixed into it to make it good for me. Indigo says salmon in the oven is so good. Again, like if I cook it with like soy sauce, maybe just a tad bit of brown sugar, and I'm talking like less than a teaspoon. It's really, really, really light. But or just like garlic and soy sauce. I like it. I do. I just so there's a food that normally I was like, so just eating lox, blah, no, thank you. But you do it that way, and I actually do like it. Hey, Audrey, how you doing? Since eating salmon a few times a week, my cholesterol's gone down. Yes, salmon is really, really good for you. Flax seeds, chia seeds, dark berries, dark greens. So, kale, spinach, not iceberg lettuce, right? All of our dark things, mushrooms, all different kinds of mushrooms. All that stuff is so good for you. I definitely have to eat more protein. I won't say meat, because I do know you can get protein from various sources. But I have determined that although I love different types of nuts, and yes, I do know certain nuts aren't actually nuts. They're part of different families, technically. My stomach doesn't love them. I have a real hard time with digestion, and I've read some research into it that can lead to leaky gut syndrome and is really hard on your stomach lining and stuff. And I don't know if that's what's going on with me, but I do know that when I pay attention to what I've eaten and really look at how I feel afterwards, I've been able to dial in better to say, okay, I can have a few almonds, and that's okay. I can have a few peanuts, but I can't sit down with the jar because I will eat at least half the jar. Give me a jar of like deluxe nut mixed nuts. Oh my gosh. I'm just a happy camper. I love cashews. Oh my gosh, I love cashews. I can eat them by the boatful, but my stomach does not like them. My digestion system does not like them. Well, not when I eat that many. I think again, I'm like okay if I eat 5, but I can't eat them in any type of quantity. And you can't set a jar of them in front of me and expect me not to eat them in quantity. So, all right, kids, that is all I have for you right now. I hear my son is awake. He is definitely a teen. He's night owl when he gets a chance to be. But I am going to play something for you before we do our outro. And maybe I'll skip the outro and I'll just play this and I'll end it at that. I have, I have a tough time getting going in the morning, and I will say part of it's my diet because I'm not eating right. I'm not getting enough energy from food. Food is fuel, and I have to think about it that way, and I have to actually think about it. Oh, see, Carmel, walnuts are really good for you. They are really good for you, but they just have this bitter edge to them, and I don't prefer them. You want to put nuts in something, put pecans. Pecans over walnuts any day for me. 100%. Anyway, I've had a tough time getting going, and I've discovered that playing music in the morning has really been helpful in kind of getting me out of that just, okay, I'm going to sit with my coffee. I'm going to sit with my coffee and I'm just going to read, or I'm going to watch YouTube for just a little bit, and I'm going to wake up and then I'll do something. And then guess what? A couple hours have gone by. So if I grab my coffee and I put on some music and I get moving, even if I'm not doing exercise per se, I feel better. And I'm able to kind of start the day a little bit more. And so I'm going to play you my happy song right now. My happy song right now is Dance Monkey. And I found this cover, and it's a Street Musicians. So it was like, I think it's called, this one's not Sing, but it's, I can't remember what the actual series is called, but they just pick people off the street and they sing. And I think this woman nailed it from just standing there to going and singing Dance Monkey. I thought she nailed it. So I got to say, in the comments, tell me, what is your happy song? What's your go-to song if you just want to feel better? I actually have a playlist called Feel Good. So I'll do it when I'm doing dishes or I'm cooking or in the car and I need to make sure that I'm not in a funky headspace or whatever. That's especially when if I'm going to court or something like that. So I'm going to play this for you, but tell me in the comments, what's your go-to song? Also, if you haven't hit that like button, do so before you leave. I'd really be appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. You'll make sure you get all the notifications for us with everything coming up. Since I am going to end the show, with Dance Monkey today. We're not going to do our standard outro today. Want to remind you guys, Wednesday, January 14th is going to be the part 1 of our human trafficking series, really kicking it off with Sex Trafficking 101. What is it? How do you recognize it? Who's a victim? Who's a trafficker? Just, really going to go over all the basics with this. And we're going to talk about some stats in the U.S. I'm going to be going over sex trafficking in different parts of the country. And so I'm going to save those stats until I deal with those different countries or that area of the world. But we have a survivor of sex trafficking who is going to be doing this presentation with us. Her name is Laura Kay. She is fabulous. She's so interesting to talk to. She is the founder of something called Survivor Source, which is a place for traffickers to get together. They actually have a meet on Zoom, I think it is, like once a week or once a month. Not remembering that correctly, for survivors of trafficking to do what we do here, basically, and helping, but it's more aimed at having a place for them to find resources, whether it's just to be able to live or whether it is in the workplace. They focus a lot on transitioning back into the workplace, into regular jobs after having been trafficked. So Indigo says, I love walking on Sunshine. That is definitely one that will always get me up. Definitely. Okay, let's play this. I'm going to change the layout here. I'm going to add this to the stage, and let me get over to the actual thing and play this. So before I leave, guys, I do want to say, please remember, you are worthy, you are valuable, and you are loved just the way you are for who you are. So hugs and love from me. Mwah. And I will see you Wednesday at 6 p.m. with Laura Kay for Sex Trafficking 101. So we are going to boogie out with a little bit of Dance Monkey today. Surviving together, never alone. Have a great weekend, guys.
Take my hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead when I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. Oh, I like your style. You made me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh, I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me. Yeah. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. I said, oh my God, I see you walking by. Take my hand, my dear, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life. And now you beg to see me dance just one more time. And ooh, I see you every time. And oh, I like your style. You made me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So I'll just say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh. I've never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me. Now when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh. I've never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me. Oh. Never seen anybody do the things you do before. And they say, move for me, move for me, move for me. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again, all again.
Give it up to